Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Reid. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer and Director of External Affairs at SUEZ Recycling and Recovery UK. So we're a waste management company, a resource management company, if you prefer. And when I say waste, what do you think? Well, you think bins, you think rubbish, you think litter, you think landfill, maybe. You might think recycling. You know, these are all words that spring to mind, but in reality, none of you are thinking, oh, job opportunity, long-term career. Wouldn't it be great if? And I'm hoping I'm going to change your mind in the next 15 to 20 minutes that the future of waste management is not only interesting, it's critical to fighting climate change, and is a place full of innovation, full of opportunity, full of invention, and full of people with a mix of skills and backgrounds. You know, this is not something that you have to go and study a specific subject at A level, GCSE, degree, or beyond. This is something that you can come into from all walks of life with all sorts of perspectives. So hopefully there's something here for everybody. But a little bit about me. I've been in the waste game for nearly 28 years. I know I don't look that old, but it's true. But my fascination with rubbish started a long time before that, actually. I grew up in Wimbledon, home of the famous Wombles. If you don't know who they are, it's because you're far too young, but look them up on Google. Little furry creatures that captured the litter on Wimbledon Common and put it to good use. The things that everyday people leave behind suddenly being put to good use. This was recycling before recycling was even really being talked about in the UK. So check it out. And from there, I did litter picking duty when I, might have done something wrong at school, a little bit of lip. And I was staying behind for a bit of litter picking, and that's when a career started to raise its head. I'm a geographer. I love geography, GCSE geography, A-level geography. I went to university and studied geography, but for me, geography was all about people and place. And whether you're into applied hydrology or you want to talk about the weather, and today it's all about climate change. Actually, for me, it was all about the impact of people on society and the impact of society on the space that you live in, and therefore the natural environment. And when I was busy investigating topics to do research into and to write my thesis and all that kind of stuff, it dawned on me that everybody was talking about hydrology, everybody was talking about climate change, but nobody in the mid-90s was talking about waste management. So here you go. I created a whole area of work looking at future government policy, local recycling activities, and just why we weren't doing better. And from there, a career spawned. Local government recycling officer. I was helping kids, doing schools visits, visiting shops, going and talking to residents about why recycling wasn't as easy as they said it should be, and how they could do better, and why were they putting the wrong items in the recycling bin of all things. When we said green waste, we didn't mean green furniture or green paint. We meant stuff that came out of your garden, i.e., grass clippings and leaves. But that's part of the joy of working in waste management. It's about people and their perceptions and their behaviors, which makes it a fascinating art and science, I guess. 2 years in local government, I had more questions than answers. I decided I was going to go and do some research, and I ended up back at university doing a PhD. The failure of solid waste management policy in the UK. I know that doesn't sound like the kind of bedtime reading that you're aspiring to, but I promise you, two volumes of deep thinking. And the answer is, it's all about people, it's all about systems, and it's all about money. And those things, if they don't align, mean waste management was always kind of end of pipe. It was out of mind. It was somewhere else. You put it in a bin and you didn't know where it went, but you didn't really care, did you? Well, the world's changed in the 28 years that I've been doing this for a living. So from there, it was consultancy, helping local authorities answer the question, what happens when my landfill closes? My energy from waste plant is too big and ugly. Where do I make the recycling opportunities come to the fore? And I traveled the world, and from Moscow to Oslo, to Cairo, to Costa Rica, to Australia, answering exactly the same question, but always in a different context. The politics was different. The material was different. People were buying different stuff. They were throwing different stuff away. So actually, waste management is all about place and all about people. And after 15 years of jetting around the world, I thought my carbon footprint probably needed to be addressed. So I came back to the UK, and I've been with SUEZ now, the waste management resource management company, for 7 years. And I look after all manner of things, but key primary focus is external affairs, which means I look after government liaison. I work on policy reform. I look at best practice, and I look at bringing the industry up so that we're not, dirty man. We're integrated, innovative, and green. But also work with local politicians and local councillors around our sites, getting them in to come and see what we do. Schools visits, I do a few of those now and again, hosting schools, looking at what can be done or where does their rubbish go, which is always fascinating when we get the kids to bring their black bags in to see what they should have been recycling and what they've left in the wrong bin or the wrong bag. And increasingly, I've got more and more communications people working for me. So we're out there sharing best practice and talking sustainability, which is my day job these days, is trying to improve the fundamentals of resource management. How do we support communities? How do we improve our carbon position? How do we drive resource efficiency, using less resources, buying less, and generally being more circular in our approach? So a huge kind of career transition, but hopefully that gives you a bit of flavor about what waste management is or isn't. Now, SUEZ has got about 6,300 staff at the moment. We're working over 300 and something plus sites, all in the UK. We're a global business, but I'm only going to talk about the UK. I've got anaerobic digestion, which is a bit like a cow's stomach, dealing with food waste. I've got composting plants. You know what composting is. Recycling facilities where we sort and segregate. I've got lots of, AI, and I've got lasers, and I've got near infrared sorting, and I've got magnets and all sorts of crazy tech in those plants that will help you pick material from one type to another. How do you separate paper from card or steel from aluminium, for example? Good physics lesson in there somewhere. And beyond that, though, we've got people that collect rubbish. We've got people that collect recyclables. We've got people that talk to the public about what they're putting out and when they put it out. We've got people advising businesses on what they could or couldn't do and how to change their behaviors. And ultimately, we're working with 30,000 customers, and we touch 11% of all households with the services we provide. So fascinating place to be. And the opportunities are endless, because it's not just about one bag, one lorry, one bin, one landfill site. That's the way it was in the 80s. In the 90s, we got into recycling. We got into energy recovery. We take stuff to an energy plant and we burn it. Now, that burning it will generate electricity or generate heat that can be used locally, but ultimately reduces the volume of material going to a landfill site. That's good news. We recycle paper. We recycle aluminium and steel. We recycle plastics. That's all good news. And recycling is a good thing, of course, and nobody doubts it. But there's so much more we can do, and that's the evolution of the sector, and that's where we're heading, and that's what I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about. But how many people work in my sector? People say, no, nobody ever walks into my sector and says, I want to work in waste management. How do I get into your sector? And I say, well, you'd be surprised. There's about 130,000 people working in the core waste management services in the UK. Collections, treatment, processing, backroom staff, dealing with complaints, looking at routing, dealing with the customers in terms of, behaviours and education and awareness, creating policy, compliance, legislation, sending in permit returns. It's just endless amounts of paperwork and data. But actually, many of those haven't got any qualifications. 18%, 16% are female. We're not a diverse industry at the moment. We're aging. It's something like 12% of the workforce are over 60 years old right now. And we're not attractive to the youngsters. People don't go, I want to be in waste management. But I'm hoping you do want to be a climate activist. I'm hoping you do want to deliver net zero or decarbonisation. I'm hoping you want to be an environmental superhero. I just hope that you're not sitting there going, what's he talking about? This is garbage. No pun intended. The reality is that we are at the heart, our sector is at the heart of decarbonising or reducing the environmental footprint of transport, of manufacturing, of other sectors like the power sector, because we deal with things like recycled content. We bring green fuels into plants like cement manufacturing, for example. We can reduce their footprint by 60% because materials that we bring in are getting a second life and a substitute for their coal feedstock. So really fascinating times to be part of the Greta journey, if you like, to be part of the net zero agenda, but also to see that you've got a career that could last 20, 30, 40 years. And ultimately, you could be at the heart of some huge innovations, because home composting, organic material collections, anaerobic digestion, reuse and repair, refurbishment, upcycling, all of these opportunities to put items that you might have thought were rubbish yesterday to good use somewhere else. Mending your bike, mending a TV, mending a phone. Why aren't we doing more of this? As well as generating fuels and, of course, putting recycling back to the heart of other systems and services. And the future is going to be more AI. It's going to be more robotics. It's going to be more intelligence led. It's going to be more data led. So we're going to need people that understand data, can report about environmental compliance, can help innovate new collection systems or automated vehicles or new fuels for vehicles, electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles. I mean, we're a sector that's got hundreds of thousands of vehicles running every day. So anything that we can do to drive that footprint in the right direction. So I've been in this space for a long time, but the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working as part of the government's Green Jobs Delivery Group. So this is a cross-sectoral group where I represent waste and resources, but we've got people there from the power sector. We've got people there that are interested in agriculture and farming and forestry. There's people in there that are in manufacturing space. And we're all looking at what are the skills that our sectors will need to go low carbon, high resource efficiency, more circular in the future, i.e. low footprint, good for the environment. And when we all start talking, you realize that there's an enormous amount of commonality in the skills and competencies of our workforces of tomorrow. Now, we produced a few reports, 2021, 2023, and there's a report coming out from government in the next couple of months, actually, probably over the summer of 2024, all looking at how many people, where, what skills, and doing what. And the reality is quite stark. And I think it's a huge opportunity, by the way, which is why I'm here today. But we need people that are data proficient. We need people that think circular. We need people that understand how you can join green designing a product or a packaging so that it can be repaired, reused, refilled even before it becomes recycled, but definitely not single use. We don't do single use. That's definitely linear and not popular. But we need people that do behavior change. We need people that are going to lead campaigns and be creative. We need people who can think in systems ways so that my sector can support other sectors and my sites can help other sites, like the example with the cement industry. So many things happening that perhaps you wouldn't have thought of as waste, but definitely resources. We mapped out my sector, and here's some really stark numbers for you. I'm going to need 20,000 green engineers. I'm going to need 20,000 green chemists over the next 10 years. I need a raft of AI, IT specialists. I'm going to need 30,000 behavioralists and campaigners, 30,000 entrepreneurs driving new business models, leasing, take back. We don't want to buy stuff anymore. We want to buy a service. We don't want to buy a product. And I'm going to need 40 to 80,000 repair specialists, people that can turn my Samsung or my Apple or whatever brand you prefer and make sure that we don't end up trying to get rid of it after 2 years because something's not quite right. It's keeping these things for longer. And ultimately, 135,000 people becomes nearly 500,000 people by 2030, 2035. So there's an industry that's going to triple in size. That should be interesting because I've not said I need people that collect rubbish. I've just told you about all these exciting green opportunities. You could be in policy making or regulation. You could be a trainer or a manager. You can be into the rental and leasing space or the repair space or the remanufacturing opportunities. You could be a biorefinery taking organic material, the chemistry, if you like, or the sorting and segregation, the physics, or you could be into spatial planning and sites and permitting, the geography. Or the economics, of course, if you want to be into growth and business. So there you go. There should be something in here for all of you, because in the future, my sector will be about keeping materials flowing. We don't want them to end and be disposed of, flowing. So we work with the designers of products and packaging. We'll be utilizing new technologies to treat what was waste and is now materials in the wrong place or in the wrong hands. Our job's to put it in the right place, in the right hands, so that we can drive new business opportunities and we can change consumer behavior. Rather than put it in the one bin at home, you suddenly put it out for a separate collection or you take it to the repair shop. That's the future. And that means we're going to need to collaborate and we're going to need to work with institutions across so many other disciplines. And that opens up huge amounts of opportunities for the Wombles of tomorrow. The people that inspired me, the furry creatures on Wimbledon Common, they're not going to be people that do litter picking. These are going to be repairers and engineers and communications experts, the designers of tomorrow, the technologists, the innovators, the entrepreneurs, the data scientists. These are the Wombles, the green champions of tomorrow, who are going to be leading the research and development opportunities in university, who are going to be embedded in schools as we go sustainable. They're going to be in every walk of life. There's going to be a resource management specialist at every site, helping make sure we do the right thing. So what does that mean for a company like SUEZ? Well, at the moment, I've got graduate roles. So you could come straight out of university, or even better, get an apprenticeship with us straight out of an A-level. Carbon capture. Hey, that sounds exciting. Capturing carbon out of a chimney and putting it to good use. Chemical engineering, putting chemistry, GCSE to good use in a real world situation with hundreds of thousands of tons of material. Process improvement, engineering design, bid writing, journalism, communications, business improvement. The list goes on. I've got 40 people that work for me doing communications only, and a team of sustainability experts trying to improve everything that we do. These are jobs that are live right now. And in a business like ours, you're going to get trained to be the best that you can be in the future, because we transition as our sector transitions. So we're now looking at the technology tomorrow, the services of tomorrow. We're working with a raft of other sectors, universities, professional bodies, on what those skills might be and how you embed them. And how do we upcycle our staff or retrain our staff? But also, how do we make ourselves interesting to, today's 14, 15, 16-year-olds? How do I make sure that you're looking at my sector when you leave school, or when you make decisions about your GCSEs and then your A-levels, that are actually going to mean you're going to have really good, background coming into my space, and then we can help refine those skills and put them to really good use. Because there's nothing better than going to work knowing that you're helping to save the planet and make a profit and enjoying it. That to me is the ultimate career. And I've been blessed. I've worked in waste management all my life. I absolutely love what I do. I wouldn't change a thing. Spending time with you today is great. I was with a minister this morning in government, and probably later on today, I'll be writing a blog talking about how great my sector is and why, saving the planet means I can sleep easy at night. So there's huge opportunities coming. And I think if I was to give you a couple of pieces of advice, you've seen the scale of the opportunity. It's all across the UK. But some key messages from me: the sector's about to boom. So why wouldn't you look at it as an opportunity? Don't listen to your careers advisors at school. I wouldn't even listen to your parents, because they're going to look at waste with that lens from 5 or 10 years ago. We're not the waste industry. We're not the rubbish sector anymore. We're avant-garde resource management in a much cooler kind of way. So think about it with that lens, the opportunity to develop in a completely different way. Think about your subject choices. Actually, I'm not very prescriptive about what GCSEs and A-levels people have got that have come into my world. Yeah. But, things like geography, environmental science, business studies, they're great foundations. They give you like bits of insight to sustainability and broader industry. They're great for underpinning knowledge. But, if you're going to be in certain competencies or certain roles, you're going to need to be more chemistry focused or more marketing or more economics. Of course you will. So understanding what you like, and therefore what type of role you could get in a business like mine, is quite key. And I think things like climate change, circular economy, resource management, they're the buzz phrases at the moment. That's where the sector's heading. So if anybody's going to get a module or a course that's going to build some of that in, there's nothing better than a bit of donut economics. So if you're going to do economics at A level, think about donut economics. It's reinventing the way that you think about life cycle costs, and therefore products, and therefore what you do with them and how you embed their disposal costs in them. Really fascinating kind of stuff. But I'm more interested in you as people. And I do employ a lot of people over the years, and I'm always interested in systems thinkers, applied scientists. I call them the light green environmentalists. You're passionate, but you also understand that we're a business, and therefore some things have to happen for the world to go around. I think, your passion and energy is going to come through at an interview or a job fair. People that are can-do. People that are flexible in location, people that understand that careers will take strange journeys. Embrace the opportunities. Who knows what you learn tomorrow, how that might apply in 5 years' time. Good team players always get on well. Collaborators, communicators, enablers. These are good words that I use a lot. These are people that just work in an environment space, but also from an office-based space or a team-based opportunity. And if you're struggling to get into this sector and you think this is the right sector, it's all about who you know. So don't be shy in picking up the phone or pinging a message. Grab me on LinkedIn. Reach out to people like me and say, how do I get in? What I would say is a bit of work experience. Go and do an internship. I've always got people coming and doing internships for a week or 6 months. Come and get some skills, some experience on your CV. That'll help open doors. Because you know, in the words of the great waste manager, Oscar the Grouch, who lived on Sesame Street, and I know a few of you are going to be going, what's Sesame Street? Google it. Oscar used to say, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It is called garbage can, not garbage cannot. And it's really true. He lived in a garbage can or a rubbish bin, to you and me. For me, getting on in this sector is about getting on. You know, if you've got the right attitude, if you've got the right fundamentals in terms of your background and your training, the opportunities are endless in my space. You've heard how fast it's growing. You've heard how broad it's growing. There's something in here for everybody. And, you know, if you want to be a climate activist, or you want to be a resource manager, or you just want to be seen to be doing your bit, I think this is exciting times and a great place to be. And certainly I'm looking for a new chief sustainability officer sometime down the line. So, you know, look me up, and I hope to see you soon. But in the meantime, work hard, play hard, and resource management's for everybody. Thanks very much.